Today we're going over lesson 10.7 on writing and graphing equations of circles. So some of you have seen conics before, so you may remember the equation of a circle, but as an example, the basic definition of a circle is given a center, it's a distance r radius from that center, which forms a circle, right? So solve for r in this equation here. We've got an x value and a y value that gives us all the way to the point of a circle, forming a right triangle where r is our hypotenuse. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared gives us x squared plus y squared is r squared. Now this is centered at the origin, so we'll have a different form in a second for not at the origin. Right, here's our standard equation when the center is hk. In most of this lesson, the center will not be the origin. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where hk is the center and radius is r. So starting off, write the standard equation of the circle with the given information. Our center is -2, 5, and radius is 5. So I'm just going to plug -2 and where h is, 5 where k is, and 5 where r is, and then we'll just simplify. So this gives us x minus -2 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 5 squared. So the double negatives we need to simplify, and the 5 squared over here we need to simplify to get x plus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared is 25. Down here, same idea. We got x minus -3 quantity squared plus y minus -1 quantity squared equals 12 squared. Double negative plus 3, double negative plus 1, 12 squared is 144, and there's our final answer right there. So pretty straightforward. Next, we got center 1, 3, and a point on the circle. All right, so a point on the circle is like an xy value, right? So we would still do what we can with this as being h and k for our center, and write x minus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals r squared. And now, to find what r squared is, we don't need to find radius, by the way, we just need r squared. We're going to plug this x and y value in. So 4 is going to go here, 6 is going to go here, to give us 4 minus 1 squared, plus 6 minus 3 squared is r squared. This will give us 3 squared. This will give us 3 squared, and 3 squared is 9, so 9 plus 9. 18 is r squared, and then we're just going to plug it right back in here to get x minus 1 squared quantity squared plus y minus 3 quantity squared equals 18. One more of these, and if you want to pause and try it on your own, this would be a good opportunity. And continuing, x minus -2 squared plus y minus -4 squared is r squared. Now, as you get doing this, you'll just realize this is x plus 2, y plus 4. Perfectly fine to plug those in. We got 0 plus 2 squared, 3 plus 4 squared, giving us 2 squared and 7 squared, which is 4 and 49, is 53. Plugging it in, x plus 2 squared plus y plus 4 squared is 53. Do not leave the double negatives around. And again, we didn't need to solve for r, just r squared. Next, we got graphing the circle. X minus 4 squared plus y plus 3 squared is 16. The basic idea is just remembering the form. Opposite of minus 4, plus 4. Opposite of plus 3, minus 3. So my center is 4 minus 3. And then r squared is 16. You could square root probably in your head and get r is 4. And so now I'm going to draw a circle at the center at 4, -3. And then I'm going to draw 4 more points that are 4 away from that. And it looks like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's my center, not quite exact. And now let's move for the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a point on the circle. Go back to the center. 1, 2, 3, 4 up. I'm doing this all 4 direction. 1, 2, 3, 4 left. And 1, 2, 3, 4 down. And then connecting my dot, and I'll get to use kind of a cheater circle here. We'll just leave the fill alone, and it's going to look something like that. I'm a little bit off, but pretty close. Should go through all 4 points. Now on your own, you're going to draw a slow curved line to connect all 4 points on the outside. I know for sure I cannot do this by my mouse, but by hand, it doesn't need to be perfect. Just do the best you can. Next one, graphing the circle, x plus 6 squared plus y minus 2 squared is 144. Opposite of plus 6, minus 6. Opposite of minus 2, plus 2. So negative 6, 2. R squared is 144. Give us radius is 12. Now this is not a big enough graph for radius 12, so I'm going to scale that each line is 2 instead of 1. And now, filling in what we've got here, we've got, let me fill in points here, we've got negative 6, 2, so 1, negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, 2, so here's my center. And then moving 12 in both directions, in all directions, from the center is going to be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because we're moving by 2, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So there's a point, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's another point, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And one last point, down, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. And then connect them with a circle here, and we've got something like that-ish, and there's our circle. And again, just one more time, we would typically, and I'll show you with a pen how we would do this, we typically just do your best to draw a curved line. Clearly I'm doing it with a mouse, I cannot do circles worth darn, but do a curved line from here to here, gradual curve, and this is why I split it into quarters. That's why I do all 4 points. So that way, worst case, I mess up one and have to redo one. Moving on, challenge questions. So we got a couple challenge questions. I did not include them all. I may do a second video for the other challenge questions if they make it into the homework, and we'll just call that kind of a homework help for 10-7 video if needed. So find the points of the intersection of the circle of x squared plus y squared is 25, so radius 5 at the center, origin, and the line x equals y plus 1. So basically we have the system here if we want to find the intersection. Both of these need to be true at the same time. And so we've got x equals y plus 1. I already added the arrow here. We're just going to substitute. Well, x is y plus 1. If we plug y plus 1 in for this x and then square it, we'll be able to solve for the y value of our intersection. And then once we find the y value, we'll come back here and plug it in, add 1 to it, or both of them, right, to find our answer. And so plugging in y plus 1 here, it is not just y plus 1 squared, it is the whole quantity, right? So that's what I mean by quantity, the whole parenthesis. And so that's the same as y plus 1 times y plus 1. And so we've done that a couple times, so I just mathed it out. Y squared plus 2y plus 1 plus y squared minus 25 is 0. Now we need to bring this 25 to the left side by subtraction so that we can factor to solve here, right? Because we can factor when something equals 0, but not when something equals a different number. So we got 1, 2y squared, 2y, 1 minus 25 is negative 24. Those are all divisible by 2, which will make our factoring a little easier. So I'll divide each piece by 2 to get y squared plus y, right? Divide by 2, divide by 2. Minus 12 is 0, and now we're factoring. Two numbers multiply to equal minus 12, add to equal plus 1. This is going to be minus 4 and plus 3. Sorry, plus 4 minus 3. Set it backwards. Right? 4 minus 3 is 1. 4 times minus 3 is negative 12, and then that puts us into these parentheses. Yes, we will have two answers, right? Generally, if you think about a line and a circle, we're either going to be tangent, so it'll have one intersection, or it'll have at least two besides that. Okay, so set each piece equal to 0. We're basically just flipping the sign to get minus 4 and 3. Now, this is not our answer. It didn't say what's the y value. It said what's the point of intersection, or points, plural, actually, it said. So we need to plug this negative 4 back here and the 3 back here. So I'm just writing down here. X equals y plus 1. Well, y is minus 4 here. Minus 4 plus 1 is minus 3. So our answer is the ordered pair. The point is negative 3, negative 4. Now we didn't deal with 3 yet. So doing the same thing with 3. X equals 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. And so that point is going to be 4, 3, right? The y value is always second. So x 4, y 3. So those are our two answers for points of intersection of the circle. One more kind of challenge one, more theoretical. Is the point P, 3, 4, inside, outside, or on the circle, which has the equation x plus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared is 9. Now, some would probably prefer to draw -2, 3, center, and then radius of 3. But mathematically, how would we figure this out, right? We're going to plug in 3 for x, 4 for y, and then compare the value, right? Because if the value gives us 9, that means we would be exactly on the circle, right? So plugging it in, 3 plus 2 squared plus 4 minus 3 squared, 3 plus 2 is 5, 4 minus 3 is 1, 5 squared plus 1 squared gives us 25 plus 1, or 26, which does not equal 9, so we're not on the circle. 26 is bigger than 9, right? So if we think about it, we are a little more than 5 away from the center of the circle. So if we're 5 away from the center, is that going to keep us inside a circle with radius 3, right? Square root of 9? No, right? We're going to be further away. So this is going to be outside the circle. So just a little note, what would the rule kind of then be now that we did this problem? So if our number we get happens to equal the r squared given to us, we're going to be on the circle. If our number is less than, we're going to be inside the circle. But if our number is larger, like we just had, we are going to be outside the circle. And that wraps up today's lesson. Feel free to shoot me any questions you have by Gmail or Google Classroom.